Hey, fellow Restopians, welcome back to Restopia. I didn't get a chance to do the second video yesterday, so I'm going to do it now. So this video is probably going to be titled something like Better Than a Rolex. Now, I normally hate those titles, very clickbaity, never true. But the watch under here, I believe, kind of is better than a Rolex in many ways, which I'll come to in a moment. Although, ironically, the person that may wear it ultimately may not feel that, but we'll come to all that in a moment. Just a quick catch up on yesterday's video. I've now sized up my Invicta Grand Diver Bluesy. Absolutely love it. I sized it to the same as my Batman, Grand Diver Batman, and probably then I realised that that is actually a bit tight for me now, so I had to open the micro adjust. Now, just to show you something on the micro adjust on here, it's here I have a link. I need two links. Here I have two links. It's that annoying thing with a clock. I don't want to go on and on about sizing watches too much. My pet hate of watch manufacturers making it difficult to size a watch. But maybe you can see here that actually, so the two, if I line those up, basically, long story short is that the full range of micro adjust on here is only barely bigger than taking a link in or out. So yeah, it kind of needs to be, it needs one more there, I think, on that micro adjust. Otherwise it becomes a little bit pointless. You haven't really got anywhere to go. But I won't go into that sizing too much. The other thing with taking a link out is that you can see, let's get that up close, you can see how that plating of whatever that is, oh, I mean, it looks like that cling film that shops used to put on their windows to stop the sun in the old days. Anyone remember that? Put on their windows to stop the things in the shop being sun damaged. Oh gosh, that looks awful, doesn't it? But you don't see that bit. But you know, that's the fun of this watch. I know a lot of you guys are gonna absolutely hate this, but it's just my guilty pleasure. I do love it. It gives me pleasure. I enjoy it. One thing I didn't mention yesterday is it actually has, someone said in the comments, sorry, I've not made a note of your name, but thanks for commenting. Somebody said that the new versions, the latest ones, don't have the engraving on the side of the case. I'm not sure if that's Grand Diver, the Invicta, or both. But I actually like that about this. It wouldn't be complete for me if it didn't have all these these nasty things on it. But yeah, so it would be incomplete. It's all or nothing. The other thing I didn't mention yesterday was that it actually has the original yellow rotor, which is garnered by Invicta fans. Now, apparently, Invicta have dropped the yellow rotor as cost-cutting measures, I assume, from their watches, apparently. So I was really pleased that this one does actually have the original yellow rotor. This was, as I said yesterday, this was came from Amazon USA, so maybe that's the reason that this one is maybe different spec, and it's probably just an old watch that's been sitting around that they've not managed to sell. Anyway, let's get on to the main event. So this watch under here, it's something I've not done on the channel before for two reasons. One of which was a little bit to do with the Grand Diver yesterday, but and also nothing to do with it. So without further ado, let's have a look. What is this watch under here that's better than a Rolex? It is a Tudor Black Bay 31 S&G, which stands for steel and gold. Yeah, that's it. Has the new silver dial, which was introduced. So these watches came out in 2022. This year they've introduced the same watch, but in the steel variant, basically, rather than the two-tone. And this dial was new for 2022. So prior to this dial, the watch was completely different. Just a little bit of history. I believe it came in 31, 36, and 41. And when they introduced this new model, which is vastly different, I think at that point it came in, they added the 39. So it's now 31, 36, 39, and 41. This being the 31. It's a completely different watch to its predecessor. It has an in-house movement, which is denoted by having straight text that's under the pinion, whereas the previous model with non-in-house with a generic movement has smiley text, as it's called. That's the case pretty much for all Tudors. If it has smiley text, if it has a curved text under the pinion, it is not an in-house movement. So they've upgraded the movement to in-house. This one, in a 31, it's a 55-hour power reserve, but I believe all of the other sizes, 36 and 39 and 41, are a 70-hour power reserve. But this being quite small, they've managed to get 55 hours out of it, which this is really going to be for a lady. So ladies don't really get on, in my experience, with automatic watches. So it's kind of an irony, really, that the ladies will probably need a longer power reserve than guys, but all they can get is a 55. But absolutely lovely watch, there's no date, so it's easy to set and wind. So as I was saying, the previous model was very, very tool-like. It was very, very chunky slab-sided case. It kind of suited the bigger models, but not the ladies model. And I'm specifically talking about the ladies model here in relation to being better than a Rolex. Obviously, that would be the lady Datejust that would be compared to. But just quickly carrying on with why this is different to the previous model. So it was very tall watchy. It was slab-sided, had a much bigger crown, a massive crown, which looked absolutely ridiculous on it. And there was a big gap between the crown and the case, as is the case on quite a few Tudors still to this day in the Heritage. The 41mm sort of dive black base still have a gap with a kind of with a coloured seal there, which you can see at all times, and it just looked really silly on the 31mm. But now, and it was a free link oyster style bracelet. I think they were the main differences. So now what they've done is it is an oyster style, a Rolex oyster style case. It's very, very curvy. Looks gorgeous. I think it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous dimension. I think that's something that's probably better than a Lady Datejust, which I don't have here, but from memory, they're quite thick in comparison to their size. I think a lot of ladies would actually be better off having the 36mm version of this, but sticking to this one, which is probably the nearest comparison to the Rolex, I think these are just better dimensions. Doesn't have a date, doesn't have the awful date window bubble, the Cyclops, and it's obviously considerably cheaper and very available. And I think that all of those things make this a much better purchase. It's a lovely watch. It looks very stylish on the wrist, has a nice the other thing I've updated, it has the quick adjustment on the bracelet. So you got quick adjustment there, just pull that down, slide it backwards and forwards. I won't do that because the owner, I'll have to remember where it went to then. Yeah, lovely clasp, mix of brushing and polishing. Has the gold shield on the clasp, so a very elegant piece. And the two things that have not been on the channel for: A, it's a ladies' watch, and B, it's a two-tone, but specifically it is actually gold. Now, obviously this is two-tone, but it isn't gold. So I'm kind of suggesting this one doesn't count. This is goldy looking, whereas this is real gold. And on a Tudor, if you didn't know, it's a mix of solid gold and capped gold. So capped gold is not plated. Capped gold is a solid steel core with, I think, a 0.33 millimeter of real 18 karat gold physically wrapped around it. That means that this can be polished. I think Tudors say you can have between 3 and 5 polishes over its lifetime, so you can buff out light scratches. But as I say, it's a mix of capped and solid. So solid, the bezel is solid gold and the end links are solid gold. And this normally applies to all two-tone Tudors, but they do vary slightly. All the other links are gold capped, as is the crown. On a chronograph, I believe the pushers are solid as well, but it does vary slightly. But the gist of it is that it's a mix of none of it is plated. It's either solid or capped gold, which I think goes really well with Hans Wilsdorf's. The reason he set Tudor up, which was to be, Tudor don't like using the word affordable now, but back in the day it was set up to be a more affordable quality watch in comparison to a Rolex. And the two companies were set up very close to each other, Rolex first and then Tudor, but there wasn't too much of a gap between Tudor being set up. I think it's a lovely brand. I think they do some nice models, but this one in particular, I think is an absolutely lovely watch for a lady who wants a smaller watch on her wrist. Now, as I say, the 36 probably would suit a lot of ladies, but we know whether that then becomes a Rolex comparison or not. It changes at that point. But I think if you're looking at the 20, so this is 31. I think the Rolex is 28 mil, the Lady Datejust, maybe 29, maybe 30. I'm not sure. I haven't sort of seen one in years. But I do think this is a very, very decent alternative to it, and probably a better purchase because of the cost. But as I said at the beginning, I think that's from a guy's point of view. I think a lady will just want it to say Rolex on it, unfortunately. So yeah, she may not agree with my my feeling that this, I actually prefer this to a Lady Datejust, but then I ain't a lady, so who am I to say what she prefers? But as a watch, I think this is stunning, and I really do like the new silver dial. It's a shame they don't have a white dial version of this, because I think that would be the best, but silver's pretty good. I'm not really a fan of the black. Black would be my second choice. There's a gold. Yeah, I don't think gold and gold I don't think go together too well, and it's not very legible when you have a gold dial. The silver dial just makes it, and obviously the black dial even more so, but the silver dial is very legible. Just think it's stunning without the date. And it does also come, you can specify this with diamond dots, where the round indices are, and or diamond, a diamond bezel. So you can have just diamond dots, or diamond dots and diamond bezel. I'm not a fan of diamonds on watches. I think save the money, and spend it on actual diamond earrings or something. Don't put it on the watch. I think it just looks a lot better without the diamonds. Some diamonds on some watches do look quite good. I don't think that applies to this Tudor personally. It just covers up the bezel. It just makes the bezel no longer looks gold. It's just diamonds. But each their own. People like different things. Well, I hope you've enjoyed seeing it. I think that's all I needed to say on the Tudor Black Bay 31 S&G. I do think it's a lovely watch. It's got lovely weight to it, and it does look very good on the wrist, out and about. And as I've already mentioned, I think the dimensions are really, really good as well. It's not too thick for an automatic watch, and it's the dimensions I think just really work on this piece. Well, hope you've enjoyed seeing it. Hope you like the update on the Grand Diver. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments below. But for now, one wrist, live it.